Bobbing left and right. Right here.
Oh. Oh. Been there.
He runs down and back up through this bottom. Now look at him walking away.
That sucks.
All right, guys.
$3.
One day,
same tree.
same tree.
Oh my God, I'm so
Woo!
Holy shit! Get a shot of these.
2 farms this year. Number 1 is done.
Did you say bye, Kevin?
I did. I already did. Bye, Kevin. Bye, Kevin. Bye, Kevin. Look at that. You destroyed it.
Joey takes
The
all
shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers.
All right, guys. Episode 20, Deer Shot Podcast. We are here with another local YouTuber, Joey Pavlovicz. Did I say it correctly?
You did, yeah.
Good.
Even though you spelled it
Yeah,
wrong.
he said I spelled it wrong in my notes, but I said it correctly. Yeah, Joey. He has a YouTube channel, WildTine TV, which is, I mean, they hunt basically all the same areas we kind of do and kind of do a lot of the similar stuff we do. Triple J Taxidermy, correct?
Yep.
That's you and your dad and your grandpa?
Yeah.
They have a taxidermy shop locally. We actually have 2 deer in the shop right now that he has done, and there is 2 more that he has at the shop of ours.
Isaac's and
Yeah, this
Luke's.
one was done. That one was done. And then
You have Isaac and Luke's from this year, and my buddy Chad brought you a deer.
Yep.
And then kind of what we're talking about today, you are I would call it, a freelance videographer?
Yeah.
Is that the proper term?
Yeah.
For Lattitude Outdoors. They have the show Grit on YouTube. I'm sure if you watch Hunting TV, you've seen it. And then he has some other companies and people that he's worked with that we'll get into when we get to it. But he kind of spends his life on the road in the fall with a video camera and films hunting for a living.
Yeah, it's a career I picked, so
Yeah, I mean,
it's fun. I've gotten used to traveling, but
yeah, I'm definitely going to ask you about how all that goes. It's almost like an athlete, like you're just on the road working like crazy. This is actually Joey's first time on this podcast. He's in our videos for the last couple years. He's actually, his voice is in the podcast intro.
he's the end of the podcast
The
intro.
end of the podcast intro. The shop is closing down. That's Joey. We had some of his guys from WildTine TV on here once just for like a shop talk, and we BS'd about crossbows and out-of-state hunting and a bunch of other stuff. But
And we recorded that intro, or that line from the intro. What was that, last gun season? We had a big
1 year
party.
ago today, actually.
Yeah.
According to the Snapchat memories, it was 1 year ago today. We had a shop party when gun season ended.
And that was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning when that was recorded.
Yeah, it was pretty. Well, actually, no, it was probably 11 because it gets dark at 5.
That's true.
So we partied for a while, but But yeah, so this is Joey's first time on the podcast. I guess if you watch YouTube or listen to podcasts or you're an outdoorsman, you've probably heard his name. Last year, he shot a really big deer called Bankrupt. You can find that on their YouTube channel, WildTine TV. He was on a couple of the bigger podcasts talking about it. So I want to ask you what life is like after Bankrupt, because I've been Snapchatting with you this season, and it has not gone the same way as last season went.
yeah, I'll describe it as like the best, worst season ever. The same thing happened to me back in 2019 when I shot my biggest buck to date then, which was 160. I spent a lot of hours in the woods, just as many as I normally would. And, it's been the season. It's been a grind.
I hate when we get to this point in the season, I still have my buck tag.
Yeah.
So there's the years you kill in October, November, and life's good. Maybe gun season, but I'm entering one of those. It's going to be January before I realistically probably kill.
Yeah, and the next month is kind of like, I don't know, purgatory. When it
it's
comes
not
to
cold
deer
enough
hunting.
yet for the deer to really feed in daylight. It's gray and nasty and just 40, 50 degrees out. The bucks are super pressured right now,
Yeah.
so they're just not moving in daylight much at all.
Yeah, they're not really feeding much during daylight. They're going to be hunkered down for the next couple weeks because of all that crazy pressure in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not completely true because my number one did daylight this morning.
Well,
It does appear some bucks are still rutting, though.
so if you will listen to
Yeah.
our last podcast, like the tale of the 2 9-pointers, with Isaac and Luke's buck. The deer we talked about in that podcast, the mythical beast, legendary local deer that his group is hunting and our group is hunting and the neighbor shot and the drones came out for. He daylighted Monday evening in shooting light. The first day gun season ended. The first day after gun season during archery, he daylighted. Like technically, like 4 minutes of legal light left. It's impossible to shoot at that time, but like he's one of those, like you talk about with your deer, older, rutting still, just doesn't care. But
yeah, actually that same Monday evening, I had my number one. Gavin's after him a little bit too, but
the conditions just must have been good for movement.
Well, the buck we're hunting, he was out in the field with an hour left of light.
Wow. So we didn't have an hour.
Gavin called me and he was like, dude, look at the reveal. I'm like, okay.
So
I guess we should be hunting.
I have like Ethan and Isaac, and I don't know if Luke has access, but like we have the same, the reveals logins, and like Ethan, because he has nothing better to do with his life, notices all the stuff first.
Yeah,
so I'm getting like text messages.
He gets up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, he's up at 4 in the morning. So I wake up in the group chat. I don't even check. So the nice thing is I don't even have to check my trail cameras in the morning anymore. I'll just see if Ethan said something in the group chat because he's already scrolled through every picture, requested every video. So, but yeah, that deer, same. Like I don't know how long he's in the field. My camera's kind of in a spot where it doesn't see the open field, but he was killable. But I wouldn't have been hunting. Yeah, I'm not hunting the Monday after gun season like that.
Yeah,
but
it must have been conditions or something.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah,
but I was kind of in my head. I'm like, I'm not gonna hunt this week.
I'm not either.
Work on taxidermy stuff and
I just
catch up.
I've been working on videos this week. Been sleeping in. It's my last week before I got to go back to work like a normal person. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm not hunting this week either. I would have to have something crazy on cameras to get me to go out in the woods right now.
And something consistent.
Yeah. So how's the taxidermy stuff going?
It's good. Yeah.
How many deer you guys take in this year, you think?
I've got 25 in, I think.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest the hardest things, I guess. Traveling on the road, everybody's shooting deer back home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to call my dad and say, hey, so-and-so is going to drop a deer off. They're just going to throw it in the freezer, this and that. And then I got to get
Luke
home.
Luke had that. He's like driving around with the deer head in his truck for like half a week.
Yeah.
Waiting for someone to be your guys' shop to drop it off.
Yeah, I think he showed up at the shop and I was like, I can't get a hold of my dad. I'm sorry. I don't know where they're at. But yeah, just I think 24, 25, so we're on track to do like 30.
Okay.
Which
nice. Is that pretty normal for you?
I've done 24, 25 past 2 years.
Okay.
And go into a little bit farther, I guess. I've been on my own for the past 4 years. I think I did like 5 my first year, then 10, then past 2 years, like 24, 25.
So you're doing all the taxidermy now?
Yeah.
It's just you? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, the Triple J thing is obviously me and my dad and my grandpa are all Joes. Mm-hmm. So Triple J.
Yeah, whenever we talk about Joe Pavlovicz, like everyone like
wait, which one?
Because like there's different generations of like my parents know like your grandpa, and then your dad's like in between me and you, and then like because your dad's a little bit younger. Because you're young. I was gonna get into that too. Like you're actually pretty younger than us.
Yeah.
So what year did you graduate?
2020.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a lot younger.
Yeah. I've been out of high school 12 years when you graduated.
But I neither of them know taxidermy.
Okay.
It's just me doing it. I learned from Josh and Jason, and put my own thing together.
2 other good local taxidermists.
Yep.
We have a bunch of Jason. I helped Jason mount that deer once, a long time ago. I'm never going to be a taxidermist because that one looks okay. There's some things on it that I would change a little bit maybe because it was the first one that I kind of helped do, and we did some stuff. But like the attention to detail, I guess I do it with the video editing stuff. But like this is someone else's, and once you get that done, then you got to do 24 more.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, But
right.
But yeah, those are 2. I mean, I know a lot of. Obviously, we take a lot of deer to Jason. We kind of split time between you and Jason. Now I'm gonna have to have him like price match you for if I shoot a buck this year. By the way, Jason. But I know a lot of guys take deer to Josh too. Like a lot of local guys.
No, all's good. I'm happy with how many I got really. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't seem like any taxidermists are begging for business. It's almost like they have to start turning it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the processors around here the same way. Like they run out of spacer deer, so they start turning deer down, which is you kind of a rush to get your stuff in, but. It's good to be able to have some guys that you know personally and be able to get your deer in. Your guys' YouTube channel is what, 2 years old now? 3?
Yeah,
Technically
it
3.
started in October 2020.
Okay.
We released our first video. We did Kentucky that year, and I think I had the first video edited by like October 2020.
So this is your 3rd season, basically,
yeah.
Isn't
No,
it
it could be 21.
or 20.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I guess we could look it up eventually. But yeah, you're basically in your 2nd or 3rd season
Yeah.
of doing
Yep.
videos. Isn't it fun to go back and watch like your first videos?
They're horrible.
Imagine
They're
us. My
horrible.
first video on YouTube was 2009.
Yeah.
Literally filming with like, I don't even know, one of these back here, just junk
Yeah.
cameras, and like you can't even see. Like YouTube actually bars the videos itself now
Yeah.
because the quality's so bad. But and the audio is and the music is like so loud and
Yeah.
like
You learn a lot.
oh yeah.
Yeah, you were making them on Windows Movie Maker back then.
Oh yeah.
There was like 2 things you can do, and that was it.
On like a Windows XP, I don't even know, computer. It was just rough, but yeah, it's cool to look at that old stuff.
I have one video, like before WildTine was even a thought. Some free editing app. I put something together on a Sony Handycam. And it was just me and Drake missing does, like
Been
missing
there.
does in
We've been
January.
there.
And I want to say it's on the channel. It's somewhere.
Does it have,
I think it's on a different channel.
They have like a watermark in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
not even on the corner. I think it's just
Right
in the
across
middle.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free
I know.
music that
Oh yeah.
says some
so bad.
stuff in the middle of it. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, we've been there before, but so I guess that's the WildTine TV. You guys got some. I mean, the Bankrupt video. You guys definitely got to watch the Bankrupt video. I like the Michigan series, but I like.
Yeah, and this year's video, you guys obviously have a bunch of video. Are you thinking next year? Are you thinking later this year?
Because you're kind of missing
Yeah.
the window here to get stuff
I know.
out,
I've missed the window. I'm thinking next year for at least some of it.
A lot of guys have started doing that. I talked to Born Again Matt, who we've been
Yeah.
on their podcast together. You know, and he's got all this video and he wants to get this stuff out, but like we're entering late December,
Yeah.
January. Like the hunting audience is going away, so you almost have to wait.
Yeah.
You know, till
Yeah,
September, October.
And the problem is when you're filming this stuff is when people want to be watching it. So by the time you
Yeah.
come back from
Yeah.
the trip and edit it and blah, blah, blah.
That's why I took this week off so we can get all these videos
Yeah.
from the last
Yeah.
2 weeks done.
It seems like our whitetail stuff gets sent out that year. And then like all my Western stuff is going to be the year after.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
waiting on all the Western stuff.
You know, I've thought about this before, and really like a lot of the local guys, like you guys and people on local, Facebook pages and stuff, see we shoot deer, and immediately they want to see the videos.
Yeah.
But really, that's like 5%, 4% of your audience.
Yeah.
Like if you really
it's
hit
such a
it.
small,
Oh.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
90% of the people out there don't even know that you
Yep.
shot a deer. So when you release that video the next year, they're seeing it for the first time. Who know? If you don't say, you can say dates in them and put this and that, but there's people that don't, and they think it's this year.
Yeah, and unless you
Like-
have like a sponsored product that's brand new to the market or something that you're
Yeah.
putting in your video, there's not really any harm in waiting
Yeah.
a year.
Well, I know like a lot of and like we'll get into because you work for some of them, but like, Midwest Whitetail, some of the ones I watch, Midwest Whitetail, The Breaking Point, they do like a live version of their videos. And, in Midwest Whitetails is actually pretty good looking stuff. And not that The Breaking Points isn't, but like they throw up a live version with just some transitions, a little bit of music. This is what happened, linear format, and then post it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back and repost the same videos like Midwest Whitetail does with Chasing November. The Breaking Point does with their show, Breaking Spring and all that. They go and repost that stuff in the fall for a second time.
Like highly edited.
More
at that
edited
point.
up storylines, voiceover, all that. Then you got channels like THP who are like posting stuff in real time, like right now.
Yeah, like they're taking it from their camera, throwing it on a laptop in a McDonald's parking lot, and then posting it basically.
which is super cool. Like if
It
you
is.
can-
It is cool, and for like a group like that has such a huge they haven't they're not just getting suggested video audience like we
Yeah.
are. Like our subscribers only like 2 or 3% of
Yeah.
our views. THP on the other hand,
All their
all their
subscribers
subscribers
Yeah.
watch all their videos.
Yeah.
So they got to get them out.
But-
And then they save their elk stuff.
Yeah,
and
say
so
their Western stuff. They still wait for the next year because they do some more editing.
and
on
they
it.
kill so many turkeys that they save turkey kills for the next spring,
Yeah.
which we don't get that lucky. But
No.
you guys don't. So the companies that you've been working for, you're not posting live. You guys are taking it back. And
Yeah, it's all following year.
Yeah. So are you doing any editing? Let's just get into that. You know, you're working for Lattitude Outdoors. Grit is the main one where you'll show up and we'll be able to see your face on YouTube and stuff. Are you doing any of the editing for them?
No, not any of the long form stuff.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of their TikTok content, so short stuff, mostly little like meme stuff
Yeah, we
on
gave
there.
up on TikTok.
And,
That's just not our thing.
Every time we'd post a video, it'd get flagged. Boom, right away.
yeah.
'Cause-
You got to definitely. That was one thing I was watching. As I was editing, you can't put kill shots
You
and
can't put guns, can't put dead animals,
Yeah.
kill shots.
They started to slam a couple Instagram accounts like a week
Really?
ago. There was a bunch of celebrity hunting Instagram accounts that kind of got hit, but I think they took it. I think they went back to being okay, if I remember.
Yeah, and YouTube goes through those phases too, where they like hunting, don't like hunting, like blood, don't like blood.
Seems to be okay right now, but
Like
so where all have you been this year?
this year. Where do you want me to start? This fall?
I mean, I know you did some
Like
stuff this
January.
summer. You were doing some stuff in the summertime,
Yeah.
right? Like you went on some trips.
Yeah, so I was filming for a show called Renovation Hunters. It's on the Outdoor Channel.
Big time.
That's took me up to Michigan and Pennsylvania. Those were both long, like 9-day trips. So like driving home, you're definitely ready to get out of
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Even though the trips are fun, but you start getting towards it. It seems like it doesn't matter how long the trip is, whether it's 3 days, 4 days, or 14 days. Like the
You know when the
trips-
end's
you
coming.
know when the end's coming. On day like 13 of a 14-day trip, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So
But-
let's talk about that before you move on with all the rest of your trips. When you're working a job like that,
Yeah.
where you're 9 days, outdoor channel, TV show,
Mhm.
is it like going on a hunting trip with your buddies, or is it more like professional the whole time, like you're working for these dudes? Like how does that?
It's definitely work. I will say I've met a lot of cool people.
I was saying,
Amazing
I have that
people.
written down here.
Yeah.
Actually, like I want to talk about like some of the cool people you met, but
You meet a lot of people. The quickest way to get to know somebody is spend a week in deer camp with them, and the ins and out and what they've done.
yeah.
Oh, of course.
Hours and hours in the tree stand with these people. So, like, I've learned a ton from them. As far as that renovation show over the summer, I was the main photographer on set, so just running around shooting pictures.
So you had your specific job for
Yeah, I
that.
had my specific job. What was it? What was the question again?
so like the difference between the buddies. So like we've been on 9-day trips too.
yeah, okay.
We did a 7-day trip with you guys last year, maybe like a 5-day. But like, yeah, and we're filming the whole thing and putting this production
Yeah.
together. But we're also slamming some
Yeah.
beers and talking
and
shop.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Like so,
and,
when you
like,
wake up in the
cooking
morning,
dinner and
are you
Yeah.
like going to work for 12 hours?
I
like,
would
you
say
got that pressure on you, kind of.
it's not like a pressure, but like it's definitely work. It's you learn real quick. It's a lot harder to walk the hills and mountains without a tag in your pocket. I'll say that.
oh yeah, like
You hear guys say it all the time. You hear every outdoor person say it. You really got to love it and have a passion for it.
yeah,
And those guys are the guys that are killing deer.
right.
That
Yeah.
have to have the camera guys in the same boat. He's day in, waking up 3 a.m. alarm clocks and all that stuff too.
There's no glory in it for the cameraman, really.
I mean, I will say the
Individually,
kill
but,
shot.
like, I'm talking like, you go on any social media or YouTube, like you
Yeah.
barely ever. And then they'll say, "Oh, thanks to
Yeah.
so and so for
Names in the credits sometimes.
But like, yeah, but it's like there's just no glory. And like, nerds like us who watch hunting their whole lives, like I know who certain camera guys were
Yeah.
for famous shows and hunts, and
Yeah.
this and that. But like the general public doesn't even care,
Yeah.
let alone know.
Yeah,
You
everybody
know what I
knows
mean?
who Jim Shockey is. Nobody knows who his cameraman is.
Yeah. But
he's
Unless
got his
you're-
own show
Unless you're
now.
in the industry.
But he's
Yeah.
got his own show now, which is actually kind of more entertaining than Jim Shockey's. But
Yeah.
we'll get to this.
Um,
Neither here nor there.
no, but it's just regular work day.
Yeah.
And then, you get back to camp. And what I love about the Lattitude guys and filming that series Grit, I've come close with those guys. They do it how me and the WildTine guys
Yeah.
would do it.
You go back and hang out.
Yeah, we go back and hang out. Like, some shows are different.
You guys show the cooking and the hanging out at the camp,
Yeah.
which I like. I hate shows that don't
Mm-hmm.
really show any of that.
I
Like,
feel like some shows, and maybe you'll be able to give some insight on this, but like when you're not hunting, you go back to your hotel room, they go back to their hotel room,
Yeah.
and like you're kind of separated. When you're not filming, when you're not working,
Right. You need some alone time. And definitely, some shows were going out. You know, a lot of the television stuff were going out to ranches and lodges, and they're feeding us 3 hot meals a day, or sometimes we got to cook our own food. But you know, that's where we stay, and we hunt their 5,000 acre ranch or something like that. And
that's got to be a cool experience too.
It is, you know, and I like it's a perfect kind of break for me, you know, because Lattitude stuff's all public land.
Yeah.
You know, well, not completely public land and permission, some permission stuff.
But sleeping in tents and campers and like
tents, campers, Airbnbs. We've kind of narrowed it down to staying in Airbnbs, just trying to take care of the body.
Yeah, that's what we've started
when it
doing
comes
too.
for a 2-week or a week-long trip, that makes it a lot nicer.
Yeah, it does. A shower every night.
Even a shower every other night. Just running water in general is nice to have, you know.
But everything's you know, every trip's different. You never know what to expect. Sometimes you stay a day later. Sometimes, you know, you get a call and you got to be somewhere the next day. Like it's.
Are there any outfits you're not going back to?
I mean, like
guys you work for,
TV shows.
Yeah, like, nah, I ain't doing that. Not a chance.
Yeah, there's one.
Right. I won't make you.
Yeah, enough said.
Yeah, I could tell you guys after the podcast. But
so
you know, when we walk through the fall where I've been.
Yeah.
So we'll
keep going with the fall.
Michigan, Pennsylvania. That was the summer stuff. And then rolling into September, I was out in Montana and New Mexico for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think you were in Montana at the same time that me and Dylan were.
Yeah. Which rolled into Montana. I was only there for like 2 days. They said the hunt was slow, and we walked out that night that I flew in, and I mean, just bulls bugling everywhere. They were like, I don't know, I don't even know what to say about it, but like they were like, it must have just turned on, because we've seen 2 elk in the past 7 days we've been here, because I rolled in like halfway through the trip.
Yeah, I don't know what day you got there, but it was the same thing for us. Like,
yeah.
I think it was like September. It might have been like September 8th or 9th is when stuff just blew up. Before that, we didn't even hear people the whole time.
Is that when you missed your elk?
Yeah, a day after that. I don't know. I don't remember what day. I think it was September 11th. It might have been September 11th.
But yeah, anyway, I flew in there, hunted, you know, filmed that night, and then the next day, so it would have been on like day 3, filmed an elk die there, and then we packed up, drove through Yellowstone, filmed some elk, which was super cool. It was the first time I've been through Yellowstone.
Yeah, I did that a couple years ago, and it was definitely awesome.
Yeah, so we went down to New Mexico, and
did you guys use that B-roll for the video?
I was going to talk about this.
it was
once it gets done with, I'm going to ask how Hollywood things actually get.
Yeah, so it was. It won't be for the video, but it was for some sponsor stuff.
Okay. Because I have like awesome bugling elk swimming through river video footage that I've never used in our videos. Because like, how cheap is that? I'm cutting out the fact that there's 92 vans, like 30 yards away from this.
But I would imagine on TV there's a lot of Hollywood going on where you see some footage and hear some things that aren't exactly happening.
There's a lot of recreate stuff.
Yeah.
There is a lot of
We've never recreated anything, I don't think, have we?
Not really. Maybe some sounds and stuff, like sound effects, if we're putting them into videos, but not really.
I've never gone back and reshot anything.
No.
But we're also not famous.
Yeah.
We're paying for our airspace. So.
It's made me do a little bit of stuff with the WildTine, mostly like audio, you know, like not like so much where you see a big buck on camera and you're like, oh, there he is, he's kept you 30 yards, you know. Some of the stuff that I've seen people do is like, we're doing a recreate and they turn to the right and they say, there he is, he's broadside 35 yards, you know, before anybody's even seen him pick a rangefinder up or something, you know. It's
they're
terrible to watch.
Yeah.
But anyways, drove down to New Mexico, hunted for 7 or 8 days, and I was a bee shooter on an elk kill. So I was back with the caller like 40, 50 yards, and then there was 2 camera guys rolling with 2 guys. A shooter ended up shooting a bull. We did the whole recovery thing. That was super cool. Yeah. And then
who was that for?
So Become One and Pure Hunting.
Okay.
Pure Hunting.
I've never heard of that, but I've heard of Become One.
Become One. You've been kind of in with those guys a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah. So they host that school I went to.
Yes, that's what
that kind of gave me my jump start, and has put me into the industry. I appreciate those guys a lot for that. But
cool.
Pure Hunting, they've had a show for I think 5 or 6 years, and I he quit doing it last year, so I was out there filming him. I was his main A shooter.
Was that on the Outdoor Channel?
Sportsman.
I'm a poor, so I don't have any of that stuff.
No, we don't watch cable hunting.
Yeah. Nothing against cable hunting. I just haven't had time for it.
But anyways, he retired from that, and what was I going to say?
Become One, Pure Sport, elk hunting. He went out on his own.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty much. I was his A shooter for that, and it would be it. I was mainly filming for him for some sponsor stuff he still has, brand deals, just content like that sort of stuff. So it wasn't like a
like a TV show.
It wasn't huge pressure to get every little thing, just do your best.
As an example, something like so he'd be sponsored by a backpack company, so you just have to go out there and film him wearing the backpack.
Get the backpack stuff. The backpack company will use that for some of their ad stuff.
And he probably has a contract, so he probably has to put that video out there.
Yeah, some stuff. He'll use it for some short stuff, or the backpack company or bow company will, use it to keep his face in it because people still know him and whatever.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of cool how you have a different way of having to go about this. Like when you're doing it for a living, you have to get certain shots and this and that, and things are planned and with WildTine and with our stuff, we're just shooting.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
And then I go back into the editing studio and put it together. Yeah. I have no there's no script usually whatsoever.
Are you ever man, I wish I had this?
Oh, I'm sure every day.
So we talked about this. We've talked about this for 2 or 3 years now. We need to get some super cool daytime video next time we kill a morning buck with the drone. Deer recovery stuff. Back of the side-by-side or truck or dragging out of the woods. Mm-hmm. And he shoots his buck 9 o'clock in the morning. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything.
I don't know what we were doing.
Yeah,
we always think about it after the fact.
Yeah, we didn't even that was a perfect one, and we just didn't do anything.
We're still in the area of we're out there doing what we're gonna do, and we'll carry cameras around and film.
Yeah,
we don't go out there to film.
Yeah, the only time I have that feeling where I feel I'm trying to do kind of some cool stuff is when I'm filming Nick or filming Tyler or filming Gore. That's when I only have a camera, so I can kind of do some stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm self-filming. It's interview, leaves, squirrel.
Yeah,
all right, deer better show up soon, or I had to delete all this crap.
95% of the time we're self-filming.
Yeah. But anyway, so you were in New Mexico.
Yep, New Mexico. Flew home from there. I want to say flew home the end of September. I think I got a couple days to whitetail hunt in Ohio myself, and then I was off to northern Michigan or Cincinnati. Spent a lot of time down in Cincinnati filming one of the Lattitude guys for the grit stuff. It's all a messy, blurred, meshed together. But I was down in Cincinnati for a little while. Spent 2-3 day stints down there. Would hunt for 3 days and come back home. And I think we went to northern Michigan first. No, actually, I do remember now. So I went from Cincinnati to Indiana. We hunted, central Indiana.
That was the same time we were hunting.
No, this was earlier than you guys were hunting.
Early.
Yeah,
okay,
we did earlier.
Okay.
So I went to Indiana twice. And then I went straight from Indiana up to northern Michigan, and that's one of the bigger trips that the Lattitude guys have. It's hosted by another podcast, Deer Hunter Podcast.
Yeah, I've listened to some of their stuff.
Yeah, and it's a pretty big camp. I think there was 14, 15 guys. That's a tent camp. I've
heard them talk about their deer camp.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures and videos from that.
Yeah, it's super cool. Meet a lot of cool guys there. Sit around the fire. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It looks like, Northwoods, Maine.
how's the hunting up there?
Some people say there's a lot of deer, but some people say there's not a lot of deer. I don't know.
Compared to where we live right here,
there's less deer.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we have more deer here than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. But it's cool. The first year I was there, cause we've done that trip 2 years in a row. I got to film some elk, and this year I never filmed any elk, but we'd wake up from camp and there'd be elk bugling in the back, so that's kind of cool. I think for that tag, only Michigan residents can draw, and it's super low. But
yeah, just like Kentucky, Pennsylvania, there's 2 or 3 tags for a whole year.
So then did the northern Michigan. I think that's a shorter long weekend trip. So that was 4 days. But I already been Indiana Cincinnati, so finally got to come back home, and that's one of my favorite times to hunt. Last year I killed bankrupt on October 15th, and
199 and change, right?
198 and 2/8. Yeah. But that's like middle of October is my favorite time to hunt. So got home, hit it hard. I was in the tree stand almost every day, and it was really like an eye opener for me because I had not much on trail camera, but I just knew I needed to spend some time in the woods to figure out what these deer are doing this year, find out where the green crops are, found out what the hot food sources are. I feel like that was it's been one of my keys in middle of October is finding the hot food source, and most of the activity is all the activity in the blocks there.
I like the green food sources in October. Like soybeans, you might have your last of the second crop, but like you get good alfalfa or something. It's awesome.
This year again, it was another late planted green bean field. I saw probably a dozen bucks and 15 does or something in it. So I had some really good hunts there and missed a buck.
Yeah,
October 17th.
So I never knew you missed the second buck. I know we'll get to that later probably.
Yeah, we could get to it.
Isaac's telling me, you see the video of him missing the buck? I said, yeah, this and that and the other. He's like, no, the second buck. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah,
life after bankrupt is not good for
life
Joey.
After bankrupt is not good. It's been a tough
The first one was like a big 7, right?
6.
Six.
Slick 6.
Yeah.
Call him the half dozen.
I've seen a picture of him. I've seen the picture.
Yeah, big, tall.
Someone killed him, right?
Yeah. He was rough season gun season was rough. There was a couple hit listers that got shot, but
do you hate gun season as much as we do?
Yeah, I mean it's a hate love relationship. Happy for those guys, but there was one deer in particular that me, Drake, and Gavin were all hunting. I got one of his sheds from last year. I really thought he was going to make it to the late season again because he late season on one of our farms, and I thought he was like going to be the only deer that made it, right?
That one's a guarantee. The rest are not.
He got shot, and then there was a couple other deer that I figured would get picked off. They got shot, so whatever. That block took a beating. Took a beating. I can show you some pictures of all the bucks that came out of that block.
I know
there was a lot.
I'm sure I saw them on Medina County.
You did, yeah, you did. So, anyways, I missed that deer. We can get into the story of that later, and the November miss, October miss. I ended up missing that doe the other day, so there's my December miss.
Don't worry, I'm not doing any better than you are this year. 2 years.
Yeah, Caleb missed 2 bucks during gun season.
Yeah.
Missed one on a deer drive.
Yeah, there was a deer drive with a limping deer. I don't think I missed him.
You
I think I blew his leg to hell. But we'll get into that. We'll get into the deer drive. The podcast has already heard how I missed a big, mature.
Yeah, that was on the last episode.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
It's been a rough 2 years for me.
So that was one of my longer, stints to hunt was that middle of October frame. And then, end of October, first week in November rolling around. That's the busiest time for a, field producer, camera guy. Spent some time in Nebraska. I was back and forth from Cincinnati again.
He must have been obviously hunting some pretty serious stuff down there.
Yeah. It was. They were shorter trips, but like we've got cell cams scattered everywhere down there. So
I know
something showed up, and
I know some other groups that spent a lot of time hunting around Cincinnati and northern Kentucky area.
Yeah, but we just cell cams were on fire and get a call, and that was like some of the stuff you get a call and you just leave the next day or leave that night or whatever like that. It's a 3-hour drive.
Could you imagine like the cell cam going off and it's like, all right,
so they just call you and
we're
they're like,
Kentucky right
all right,
now.
we need 3 days of work out of you.
Yeah,
and you're like, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, usually it's like, okay, I got to do something tomorrow. I'll leave tomorrow night and I'll be down there by 10 or something like that. So did some of those little trips, and then a bigger trip in Nebraska. That was Lattitude grit.
A lot of people go to Nebraska. He hated it. He went to Nebraska. He absolutely.
Well, we were going to hunt mule deer too, so I don't know. They were hunting whitetail.
Yeah, whitetail
primarily.
Yeah, it's different. There's not a lot of trees around there. Alex did shoot a buck. There's another camera guy with him when he shot that. So then we communicated it, and that was B shooter for the recovery and stuff like that.
We call those GoPros here at Siman Brothers.
Yeah,
GoPro on the tree or whatever.
Yeah, B shooter. That's our B shooter.
Yeah. But that was cool. Buck tag filled there. That'll be an episode next year.
Cool.
Left from Nebraska, went back to Michigan to get my truck, and then drove home. I want to say that was like middle of November. I don't know. I missed an Indiana in there somewhere.
Yeah,
because I was in the.
We were in Indiana at the same time.
Yeah.
You were there when we were there.
Yeah.
You were with Latitude, Jake Bush.
So that was right before Nebraska.
We were on our trip.
Yeah,
that was late.
And there was something I was going to ask you
October,
about that trip. And I know you're not going to. I think you already told me the answer, but I'm going to ask you again just because it's funny on the podcast. You guys didn't leave the sign on Robert's truck, right? So Robert from Trophy Line. Someone wrote him a note on cardboard like, "Stop shooting our small bucks, you out of stater," and like plastered it on his truck. So like he thinks it's an inside job from Latitude, like making sure.
One of the guys from Latitude was hunting down. He'd drive down a couple times and hunt in that area. You guys were.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we were like 2 hour and a half away, 2 hours away. So. No, we didn't leave that note, but that is funny that happened to him.
It had to be some local saw Michigan plates and
must have been. But it's just funny how it was someone who knew. And to be fair, he did not shoot a small buck down there, but there were some guys in camp with the other YouTube group that did. So we don't know. Like, we thought it was someone that had some firsthand knowledge of the situation, but apparently it wasn't.
Yeah. So that Indiana was before Nebraska, and then Nebraska. I'm trying to remember what happened after Nebraska. I think I was home. I think I've been home since. There's no way I've been home since Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know what your last trip was, but.
Well, you spent some time down south.
Oh, Southern Ohio. Yeah. So I spent some time. I was home for a little while after Nebraska. I got to hunt my farm down in Southern Ohio, and then came home for a day, repacked, and then went on another Latitude grit trip, and filmed for 6 or 7 days. That took me right to the day before Thanksgiving, and Drake actually went with me down on that trip. He was a bee shooter for one of the other guys, and he just kind of hopped between people.
So he actually did a paid gig.
He did a
Drake
paid
did
gig.
A really?
Yeah.
So it's funny you say that because I remember I was texting you like earlier in the year. You're like, "Nah, these guys all got fucking girlfriends and shit. They're not doing nothing." And the ironic part was Drake killed a buck like 3 days later.
Yeah, he did.
He killed his buck 3 days later, Drake. Just so you know. So you were getting shit talked.
I was talking like a little. I was like,
and then you killed your buck, and he's dating our cousin, isn't he?
Something like that.
It's like it's not even really our cousin. It's like our uncle's. It's our uncle's second wife's daughter, something.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
We're
gonna see him at family Christmas, though.
Yeah, they show up at family Christmas. The Drake's gonna be there too, so I'll have to give him some ribbon for that. But before we go any farther, I'm gonna have to pull a J. I gotta take a pause.
Gonna take a leak.
We just leave it rolling. All right, we're back.
Where were we? We're back.
Yeah, we're back from break. I think we were talking about Indiana, and we just got back. We were talking about Drake going on his first paid trip.
Oh yeah,
dating our cousin, all that, whatever.
So with Drake doing that, is he planning on doing it more, or was it just kind of like to go?
I don't know if I kind of talked him into it. It was kind of just like to go.
Just to gain some.
Get more familiar with the camera.
Yeah.
He did the, a gear package, which basically paid him more than he would have got paid for a daily rate. So he got the saddle, the sticks, the platform, all the ropes.
So that's kind of like how he got paid for the trip.
Yeah. So I think
he's still shooting with the 2000 like me.
Yeah, he was shooting with it. Well, that's what his personal camera is, but with all the grid stuff, it's Sony stuff, and he's ran my camera and Gavin's camera before, so we have some extra cameras, with the Latitude. So when we got rolled into camp, set them all up and talked him through it, So I think he liked it. I think the first day or two after 3 a.m. alarm clocks was a little rough on him, but no, he did really good. So
that's good. So will we see him in some of the videos, or at least see some of his footage? Probably.
You'll probably see some of his footage. You might catch a
glimpse
of him. Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
I remember like the first couple episodes of Grit. It was like we catch a glimpse of you.
Well, we always know we catch a glimpse of Joey because he's wearing that hoodie.
Literally,
I wore this hoodie like every trip.
Yeah, I can tell. It's like you know who else was wearing that hoodie the other day? And I told him he looked like an asshole. Jason Salzner.
I
was at a
He's wearing the same hoodie.
I was at a friend's giving, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've taken you like 7 deer mounts in my life, and you're wearing a WildTine hoodie? What the fuck is that?
This is the competition here.
Yeah, come on, man. And he's like, ugh.
No, I think he really liked. I think he liked it. I think it'll be like a 1 trip a year, 2 trip a year thing for him,
like a hobby type.
Yeah,
deal.
That's cool that you're opening doors like that for like your guys, because like, how else would you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and obviously that's going to make the WildTine stuff much better if he's getting that experience.
Yeah. When is the next WildTine video? By the way?
That's a good question. I'm editing Sammy's stuff right now, but I'm at the point with my technology where it's like very slow on me, and that's one of the big things. The money, I need another $4,000 laptop, and
that's
I got the nerd stuff here for Isaac. We were going to get into. I know we're not done with the trips yet, but like we'll get into what gear you're using when it comes to that stuff, because it's kind of for people like us, it's interesting. I know for the general audience, they're probably like
they might not know exactly
what
we're talking about.
But some guys watching will know what it is.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, Drake's trip, gun season ish, closing in.
Yeah. So that that was fun. Got to spend camp with a good buddy of mine, Drake, one of the WildTine guys. So that was cool. And then that Southern Ohio trip brought me right to Thanksgiving. Was home for Thanksgiving. I think I'll be home until Christmas, which is usually I have 1 or 2 trips in there. I had one on the books, and over the summer I had second week of December booked, which would have been like right now. But that one ended up backing out. Usually I have one over New Year's, but that one backed out. So I don't know what the deal is there, but I've got a lot of taxidermy stuff to do. Got plenty of deer heads in to keep me busy, so I'll be doing that for the next couple weeks and hopefully get out hunting a little bit and then spend the holidays at home. And
any later type season stuff, film work. Like I know out west
there might be a muzzleloader hunt I go on.
I know,
or back down to Cincinnati.
Grit probably doesn't get into this yet, but I know like a lot of guys are gearing up right now for like that Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama.
Yeah,
Tennessee,
it's beginning to be a little bit of a fad.
The southern states have a later rut.
Yeah,
and they're hunting like right now is peak rut for some places down there, and Georgia is one of them.
Yeah, you even get further south and it's like January they're hunting.
Florida they rut in like June or something. Some of the deer.
Yeah,
you ever read about that? Like some deer are like transplanted from up here and they rut in November. And then some deer that are like actually from Florida that have been in Florida, they run in like June or July or something. And like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to that. But I don't think I'm going to go to Florida to hunt deer.
It's a strange thing. Yeah.
No, us either.
Yeah. I hate Florida. You're going in like a week.
Yeah, I'm going fishing and vacationing.
I hate Florida.
In February.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Let's get nerdy.
That's about the trips for the year.
That's the trips.
Yeah.
So he's all over the place, living like a rock star.
Maybe a late muzzleloader.
What's the worst place you've had to sleep?
On pull-out couches and cots.
That's not too bad then. At least it's warm. Like you're not
under a tree in the rain.
When we were in Indiana, he slept in his tent in the yard the entire time on purpose.
Yeah, I just wanted to get away from snoring people.
Yeah.
And then I fell over my tent at 3 a.m. and broke it.
His Nemo tent that's been all over the world. Literally, this tent's been all over the world.
And I break it.
And he breaks it in Indiana in a yard, sleeping in like 60-degree weather deer hunting.
So I sent it into Nemo. Hopefully they fix it.
Did you want to walk through a day?
Yeah, I would love to walk through. Like, we don't have to talk about any of the outliers. Let's just talk about like your day with Grit, because that's like that's what we watch and that's what we see.
Yeah. So like, what I love about Lattitude Grit is, like I said, we're doing it exactly how me and the WildTine crew would do it.
It's not the traditional TV show. It's a YouTube show.
It's public land, Airbnb hotel. Sometimes tent. But yeah, it's pretty typical. I'll explain to people that don't know. It is like work, but 3 o'clock alarm clock, whatever. Usually we're driving about an hour and hour 45 minutes to a hunting spot. Walk in.
Why don't you find a closer Airbnb?
I know, right? But everybody's hunting. There's 3 guys in camps. They're all hunting.
Yeah. The
Airbnb's like the hub. Sometimes they're like way out there, and I'm like, "What were you doing booking this thing?" But you get some film stuff on the road. just to kind of establish where you're at. You're driving so-and-so, just left the Airbnb, walking into the woods, get some stuff. It's hard to get stuff with red lights, so sometimes the guys get mad at me for having my white light on for too long, but I'm like, man, we're trying to.
I don't think the deer even care, but
I really don't. I think as long as your white light's pointed at the ground and not like.
Yeah, you're not shining it into the woods.
Yeah, I don't think
spotlighting.
I don't think there's a difference. I think deer see red light just as much as they see white light.
Well, they sure do stare at the infrared trail cameras.
Yeah,
the red light.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be able to see that,
but they do. Usually, a November day we'll sit till 11:30, 12.
How many all-day sits did you do?
We tried one this year, and I was up in northern Michigan, and this is like a different kind of hunt. We have to bike in 1.5 miles down a bike trail, and then we kayak 1.5 miles with these portable kayaks, and then we walk probably 400 yards through a swamp with hip waders on,
and then see how many deer.
It was pretty decent. I saw. I drove up there for one hunt. We were gonna sit all day. I think we saw like 5-6 deer.
So that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of effort to go through.
The weekend before, he had a nice buck just skirt him. He couldn't get a shot on, so he had that Saturday was open, so we were gonna sit all day, but he was sick, and we climbed down, took a nap at the tree about noon, ate lunch, and we were deciding whether to back out or hunt for the evening, and we ended up having a deer coming in on us at like 2, and we were in the swamp. It's like 6 foot tall. If you're not in a tree, you're screwed. Whatever. But we ended up backing out. The fellow I was with, his kayak broke, and it was a whole. They were cool kayaks. These portable kayaks. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it was like a short form video or something you guys posted.
Yeah,
but I remember you guys paddling in them. It might have even been a Snapchat.
Yeah, they were.
I think it was a snap. I saw the Snapchats.
Yeah, they were fun, but kayak got a hole in it, and it was a whole ordeal getting out of there. And I drove home, and it was like that Halloween weekend, so Drake shot a buck that night.
Yeah, because I remember.
I got home.
Where was that Halloween party? Like, it reminded me of back in my debauchery days, which was a long time ago, before you were even out of high school, or even way long ago. But
yeah, 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So you weren't even probably born yet, right around being born.
Well, I'm 21, so
you were close. But we would do the same thing. Like, there's a famous story where like it was Thanksgiving week. Our parents would always leave town and we'd stay home, and like you're hunting deer, and then gun season comes, the whole 9 yards. Like, we shot a deer and we took it to like Nick Schlau's and put it on his mailbox, and like just all this crazy stuff. So I seen that pic, and this is literally 2008. So I see all these pictures of you guys like partying in a barn with a deer hanging, like getting all drunk, fucked up, and like. I remember those days. They're a long time ago, but I remember where it was.
We try to do that now.
Where was that barn? Where was it?
It's Drake's farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to do that these days, and we're in bed by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we just can't hang. Just don't get old, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy this young life while you got it.
So anyways, that trip right there was a crazy access. Usually it's not that bad. Usually it's like 1.5 miles, 2 miles, hiking.
Yeah.
Doing a couple up and overs, but, for the most part, walk the bottom in and around, filming your stuff there. And then in the tree, you get all set up. You're getting your shots from the stand when the sun's coming up, and you kind of got like a, 20-minute window, 30-minute window. You can sit on your phone for a little bit, whatever.
It's too dark to like.
Yeah. You want to get those establishing shots when the sun's coming up and get all your stuff done there. So that takes, a little while. But then if you don't see any deer right then, that's just going to be used to establish the sun's coming up. And sometimes I run a laps if I've got a camera arm. But this year I've been freehanding a lot.
I was gonna ask you about that stuff. Into the nerdy things.
And then, sit, start the hunt, maybe film a deer here or there. Make sure that you get your B-roll shots that kind of match the lighting after you see a deer. Like, you see a deer walk through, you want some B-roll shots to kind of match.
So you want to get those right away.
Get those right afterwards or something like that.
So when it comes down to it, and you're on a longer trip, so say you're on like an 8 or 9 day trip. Are you doing the same thing, getting the same shots every day?
Pretty much, because we're never hunting the same tree.
Yeah, so you kind of.
We're never hunting the same spot. Like, it's
saddle guys just moving a lot.
We're just moving and moving and moving. But I mean, you only need so many sunrise time lapses and this, whatever, that kind of stuff. So sometimes there's different footage in there. Like sometimes I try to prioritize filming the hunter, because that's really, everybody can go watch a deer, on YouTube anywhere, but the personality is what kind of make the videos. Yep. So try to prioritize that a little bit more.
You seem to hang above them. You try to hang a little bit higher.
Yeah, for the most part.
Like when I film Nick and those guys, I always hang higher than them.
Yeah.
I always make sure that I'm like above.
Sometimes I'm about eye level. But yeah, the hunter's going to be handcuffed, not being able to shoot one way. I'm not going to go a complete stick above them usually. Yeah. Because the film would just end up trash if I'm filming down like
straight
that.
Down.
The second angle is cool to look down like that, but
because you still got to get that trajectory of the arrow.
And
all that.
And it seems like you guys are focusing a lot on audio, like you're all lav mics and all that.
Yeah.
Audio's it's the most important part that no one cares about.
Yeah.
People buy all the camera gear in the world.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and we're using shotgun mics. We have started using lav mics a little bit, but it is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when you're filming yourself.
Yeah. It makes a hell of a difference. So I know I hunt around some of the major roadways around here.
Yeah, every time you see a video of Joe, you just hear semis go.
Yeah.
So when you're using those lav mics, you can't hear it as bad.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the big things. But out there, 2 miles deep in public, it's fine. Whatever. We run that as a fail-safe, just to have 2 channels.
Nighttime lapses are so much better out there too.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Like I'm sure northern Michigan's like.
Oh yeah, northern Michigan's great.
It's crazy.
The farther west you get, like New Mexico and stuff, I think.
Well, even like the south, like we go to West Virginia. Yeah. There's no cities for hundreds of miles. Yeah. Like big ones, so it's like you look up in the air and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's awesome.
And then basically the same thing for the afternoon. We go out to get some fast food during the day.
You guys eat like shit the whole time?
Yep, eat like shit, complete shit.
See,
no matter what.
That's something that we've done better with.
We try to cook and stuff.
We always cook at night, and then
we cook at night.
Yeah, like our lunch is always just a simple like sandwich. Like we don't wherever we go, there's never like really an opportunity to get fast food anyways. Yeah. So like we just because like
I would like to eat healthier, but I say that now.
How'd your diet go while you're on these trips?
The diet stopped when I went on these trips.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Joey lost like 30 pounds, 20?
Yeah, 25, 30 pounds.
30
and I'll get back on it after the holidays. But
right, yeah. The holidays, right? Christmas sale.
Yeah. But yeah, just after you sit in the tree stand for whatever, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, I just want to stuff my face with the most junk I can.
It's the same thing when
something hot.
Yeah, we cook, but like our meals when we cook, and you've been to deer camps and stuff, like just massive amounts of meat and mac and cheese and potatoes and like the whole 9 yards, like this huge meal at night, and then you drink your quick 6 beers and bedtime.
Yep. And when it comes down to the equipment you guys are running, it's all Sony cameras.
Yep.
All DSLRs. Like even second angle cameras, are you using GoPros at all? Or are you just using
we use a GoPro. This year we started running a GoPro back towards the camera guy, so you might see my face a little bit more in these videos.
There we go. Just camera guy recognition.
Just an extra cut angle, yeah. Into the gear stuff. I'm running a Sony A7R5, 28-200 Tamron lens, paired with the Rode VideoMic Pro shotgun, and then I have the Rode Pro wireless Rode. Yeah, the Rode. Another Pro wireless mic system.
Wireless lav mic.
I brought it. I should have grabbed it out of the truck on the way in.
Compared to our cameras.
Yeah. But if you want to see it afterwards, I'll show it to you.
It's actually your setup's made an appearance in our videos before.
Has it?
Indiana. We play with it on camera a little bit.
Oh, do we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the setup's changed a lot since last year.
We'll have to bust out for the B-roll.
I think he was using an A7C before.
I was using a C.
We'll have to bust out for the B-roll at the beginning of this podcast.
But the A7R5 is like a 61 megapixel camera, which takes these beautiful, huge, full frame pictures. So it's a photography camera really. Does 4K 60, and that's what I try to film in most of the time. It gets tough with files and storage with footage.
Yeah, so we have started filming everything in 30, except for if there's things we want in slow.
Yeah.
Then we'll do 60, or even he'll mess around with his 120.
Yeah.
Because with the 30, with the deer hunting footage in the shop, it works just fine, and the computer eats it up.
Yeah.
Editing's simple.
Yeah.
And you start getting into 60.
Yeah.
Like large
and it's
files
got
of
different
60.
codecs and all that bull crap that people really don't know what we're talking about.
So I should rewind a little bit. We try to film most of the stuff in 4K 24.
Okay.
And
so
then
you guys are doing
I've noticed
24.
you guys are doing the you guys.
the 231 aspect ratio.
It does look pretty cool.
They are cool, and I actually tried it with WildTine stuff, and it makes it a lot easier to edit. You'd be surprised at how much better framing you'll be able to get with taking that, top and bottom off.
I've been doing it in some of my Western videos that'll be coming out next year.
Yeah, Isaac does.
Like
Isaac
all my travel montages are going to be in that, boxes on top, boxes on the bottom.
Yeah, Isaac does all his own his Western stuff is completely his baby with it. So we have some altering styles with our channel, but it does look pretty cool. We just, for our stuff, we haven't incorporated it.
Yeah, so use the 24 frames per second instead of 30.
Yeah, we do 24 most of the time. And then, like, if we're doing a recovery, it's always 60 just because there's so much stuff there.
That you're going to put into slow-mo.
Yeah.
That's something that we need to probably pay attention to. Like,
because we don't film for
really good
slow-mo
lighting.
too much.
Your buck this year was really good lighting, and we didn't, A, use the GoPro, B, slow it down. Like, none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of blood I had to grayscale.
Yeah, you'll have that. YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube problems.
So anyways, that's the A cam for the most part. Sometimes I'm running a camera arm, sometimes I'm not.
What kind of camera arm you use?
The 4th Arrow.
Same.
The Micro Talon.
That's the one Luke has.
Is what I'm using most of the time, and if I'm ever self-filming, that's what I use.
Road heads? Or not road heads, Manfrotto heads?
Manfrotto head, yeah.
Yep. Standard.
And then if I'm filming somebody else, if we have a short walk, I sometimes take the camera arm to kind of get some time lapses, because you can't time lapse with a handheld in it. But if not,
you ever take a screw in?
Oh yeah.
No, so for your second angle, what do you guys
secret,
use for that?
1 inch. You can do 1 inch in a lot of states.
Can you?
Yeah.
Wow.
1 inch is legal into the tree.
For the second angle, I'm using my A7C.
So you're using your old camera?
Yeah. So another Sony back down, and then if we got some GoPros, sometimes I put the GoPro facing me in the tether. Sometimes it's GoPro me and the hunter. Sometimes it's just me. If we're just running around and filming freehand, there's GoPro back at me just for a cut angle. With the Lattitude grit stuff, there's a lot of communication between the camera guy and hunter, just because I've gotten close with those guys, and I'm part of the circle, I guess you can say now.
Yeah. Which is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then another Sony for that.
Isaac doesn't let
There's
me
a lot
use
of cameras
GoPros.
and gear floating around in the camp when we go on the road, for sure.
Yeah, Isaac doesn't let me use GoPros anymore. Like, I still use it as my second cam for the shot, like above the shoulder, and I use it for my interviews. But I don't have mine set on wide. Like, my GoPro is basically set on like real capture, and it's just right here with the media mod, so I can get good audio. But I'm not allowed to use it for anything else.
Well, our videos were kind of learning different styles.
I have to use that now.
Yeah,
for
but
B-roll.
after Caleb's using that, I've kind of noticed that his style is kind of more towards the GoPro. Now he's walking around with his camera all the time. I'm like, well, if we're gonna be walking around with like this, use a damn GoPro. That's what it's designed for.
He told me I gotta buy some
on the bottom.
No, there's like some lens I gotta buy now.
Yeah, so the lens that we have on this camera here, it's like a B-roll lens. It's a 16 millimeter. To nerd out a little bit, full frame equivalent, it's 32 millimeter because it's a smaller sensor. Blah blah.
Yeah.
So he's walking around with this 32 or 35 millimeter lens, which is a little bit too tight to be doing the POV type stuff. So
we've got this far with me walking around.
Yeah.
With cameras.
So we're still learning, but we need to get a wider lens for that camera for him to be walking around with it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make it like so. I'm sure anyone who's watched our stuff's noticed this year, like our Deer Camp Chronicles show, which is now our flagship show that we're doing. Like, the quality is way different than the GoPro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that gives us some of that depth of field stuff. It gives us more dynamic range in the lighting, so it's not just like super bright, super dark.
Sounds better because we're using mics.
Yeah,
better sound.
The GoPro is not terrible sound, but like you'll notice.
Yeah, the media mod helps.
Yeah,
but there's lots of anytime you're moving, there's lots of popping and stuff like this.
Yeah,
that goes into that GoPro. So we're learning.
Yeah, you know that GoPro's indestructible, so you kind of like just banging off of everything. And
and when he's going to
you hear stick hitting it.
Change batteries and trail cameras, he just hooks it on the side by side drives around, then he's got a camera. With this, you can't really, throw it in the seat.
And that's the nice. I can clip it to like the GoPro's literally. I've been 20 feet under the water in the ocean. Yeah, that thing, like it's indestructible.
The one thing with my self filming setup this year, if you want me to touch on that a little bit,
anything you want, man.
I think I've got it figured out. So I'm running a chest strap, GoPro on the chest strap, and it gets all the POV. A lot of times I'm hanging and hunting, so hanging sticks. I'll angle it down and get the POV, get my feet walking, and I'll do usually one update on the way to the stand. Sticks hanging, platform hanging. A lot of times I'm saddle hunting, so I take it right off my chest harness and put it between my prusik on my saddle. And then it's right at me. I can show you some footage, or if you want to overlay it in the video. That's got to be a nice thing about
saddle hunting is everything's right in front of you. So any POV type stuff,
it's great. Yeah,
it's right on you.
And
we're having to put it over our shoulders.
Yeah, but a lot of when we're travel hunting, because you find good single trees too. But all our stands here at the home farm have double trees.
Yeah, we have more than one tree in front of us.
Yeah.
Got mounts. There's trees that have mounts that have been in the tree for years. You just get in there and just click the GoPro to it. But traveling, it's hard to do.
Putting it in your prusik, because if you're ever swinging in the saddle, it just moves with you.
Follows you.
So it's the second buck I missed this year, the one in November. It couldn't have been more perfect. Sun rising behind me, I was indestructible in this
you showed me
tree.
the footage. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Buck center frame. Anyways,
10 yards away.
Yeah,
we're close to
23.
23. Okay.
It was a steep angle. I don't have an excuse for that. I just
at least you didn't miss one at 70 with a rifle and a scope. I did. What the hell is wrong? And
it's been a tough year, man.
Yeah, man. I hear you on that one.
But same A camera, but the only difference is I'm not running a second angle Sony. My backpack doesn't have the space for that. So
I was going to ask you what backpack you use, because man, I have not found one I like yet.
Backpacks and boots are my biggest struggle, man. I think I finally found a good pair of boots, but the backpack is just.
What are you wearing for boots?
I'm wearing Chenets.
I don't know.
You heard of Chenets?
No,
they're Western company.
They're fancy.
Sounds like something my wife would wear.
Yeah, they're a fancy Western boot.
They're Western. They're out of Bozeman.
So I wear Crispies until it gets too cold, and then Mucks.
Yeah,
Arctic Pros.
Yeah. If I'm hunting home, I'll wear Mucks sometimes, but just on the road hiking and stuff, Mucks wouldn't.
Well, the Crispies are good for that, but they have no temperature control. My Crispies, you'll freeze your feet off instantly.
Yeah,
and they're not that waterproof. They're water resistant.
Yeah, somewhat. They're somewhat waterproof.
Yeah,
but I'd go for a boot shoe, something that's lighter, not with a super aggressive tread, because sometimes you can make noise on the saddle platform.
All the mud starts falling off.
Yeah, and.
Been there.
But I think I finally figured out a nice pair of boots. Anyways, for the backpack, right now I'm running the Badlands Photo Capture Pack. And they discontinued it, but you can still buy it on, Bedford Camera and Video.
So
they have a couple left. It's very small. It's small.
So we would need a bigger one.
So I need a bigger one.
It's...
Because I need a camera arm, my base, my camcorder. I hate taking my camcorder apart. So you know how Drake's can come apart. Handle and mic off and all that shit. I hate doing that, but otherwise you got to put this huge camcorder somewhere.
It's it's small. I would like it to be a little bit bigger, and I would obviously change some things on the backpack. I think every backpack I've owned before, I changed at least some things. But I'm thinking about getting the Mystery Ranch Treehouse. That's what Gavin's got. He likes it, but I think it's the big one's just a little too big.
Yeah,
and it's heavy, the material.
So I ran the Badlands Super Day Pack Pro or whatever for many years, but it did okay. But I don't. The old style backpack was like a school book bag. It had no form to it. I like these new ones that are I don't want to call them cooler style, but they have form to them. So they
structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got rid of that Badlands pack that I ran for years and years and years. It finally basically died on me. The
zippers.
The strap was coming undone from hanging in the tree. All this crap. I bought the trophy line, and it's not because he's a Lattitude guy, but I hate this fucking trophy line backpack. And I told the guys,
we have two of them here.
Yeah, we have two of them, and they're right there. I can see both of them.
So there's $500 worth of packs over there.
And I told Robert Kennedy, I was like, listen, who do I complain to about this fucking backpack? It probably is good if you're not filming, or if you just get maybe one simple camera and carrying your stand platform in, because that's what it was kind of made for. But it's just not quite big enough, and the buckles are cheap, and the zippers are cheap, and I literally fucking hate it. So Spaniel bought the first light, right?
It's the first light. I think it's called the transfer pack.
It's huge.
It's too big.
As big as that 55-gallon whiskey barrel right there. But like with all the crap I carry, it might be what the ticket
it is
for
nice,
me.
and it comes apart. You can actually carry a stand in it.
Yeah, like it's fucking cool.
It's got form, but it is
big.
They need to make one just a little
But
bit
I
smaller.
usually don't care if it's big as long as I can get all my stuff in it comfortably, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've heard of the Mystery Ranch stuff. I don't have it. You have some Mystery Ranch stuff, right?
No, I've never tried their stuff.
You don't?
My Western stuff is Stone Glacier.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, is Lattitude going to make a pack or what?
I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, don't you have the ability? You just told us you're in
might
the
be
circle.
able to disclose some information after.
Well, it just seems like so they make the saddles.
Give me
they make
something
the
I could
sticks,
use.
Stick platforms. All these shows, hunting public land, they obviously have all the experience. Why don't they just make a pack?
Yeah, they definitely could if they wanted to. I've been able to have my hands on some prototype stuff. Working with them, obviously, that will be coming out in the future. There's big plans. It's
good.
They're
doing great for themselves, and I'm glad I'm with them. So
yeah,
I just want a pack that I can strap my camera arm to, and then has an open, like form-fitting, open compartment that I can drop that camera into.
Yeah.
Without having to take all the mics off, take all the shit off.
Yeah.
Because right now I carry it on a strap because it won't fit in my pack anyway.
Yeah. So like,
but then you're banging it around on everything.
It's just I have yet
there's
to have
not a good way to do it.
There's not a system.
A lot of times,
I like yet.
A lot of times I pull my camera up with a bow rope. If I'm filming because I don't have a bow.
So you'll carry your A cam. You won't. Put
I'll
it in your
always
back
carry my A cam in. Yeah. When I'm filming. If I'm not, it's the GoPro on the chest. If I'm self filming, it's the GoPro on the chest.
We should start doing double bow rope pull ups. Like have the bow on the bottom and the camera here, 2 carabiners.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. But then you get in the we're hanging and hunting, and you can't cut anything on public land. So pulling it up through this and that.
Yeah.
Sometimes my dead cat falls off, and I lost one of my. I had the DJI mics, the wireless mics, and I lost the receiver that goes on the top. That's somewhere in Nebraska.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, this stupid.
That's
thing.
$100 piece of equipment.
I lost this off of my GoPro.
Yeah,
and
you can't buy them.
It's amazing. Yeah. For one, this doesn't exist on the internet. I've searched Google and
the only way to get one of these
Fish,
is to email GoPro.
And I did, and they never sent it. They told me it'd be on the way like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Never came. Huh. But you wouldn't think it'd make that big of a difference. My interviews, if there's any wind without this, suck.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, I had
simple little thing.
I had that super glued on there until you probably just ripped it off. So it wouldn't come off because I've lost it before too.
So yeah, pain in the ass, man.
What else were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about gear. We've already covered your
backpacks.
camera, your arm, your backpack, your boots. This is just for the WildTine stuff, but what are you guys editing on?
Adobe.
You like it?
Yeah.
See, I'm a DaVinci. He converted me to DaVinci, and man,
yeah, I know some guys that have switched to DaVinci.
The color grading is amazing.
There's a couple different editors throughout Lattitude. The one guy's using Adobe because he's always used Adobe, and then the other's a DaVinci guy.
So they're using two different editors for the same videos?
Kinda. There's like...
I mean, once you're at that tier of video editing...
I'm sure you're paying somebody
What's
to do
the
it.
Apple one?
The...
Final Cut.
Final Cut,
Once you get those three, like DaVinci, Final Cut, like Adobe,
I mean,
you can't really tell. There's no way to really tell the difference.
I haven't messed around with any of the other two.
Man, DaVinci's something, let me tell you.
But, like, for me, the After Effects, the Lightroom and stuff, it's all...
But, like, DaVinci has all that built in.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's just all personal.
I put that Indiana trip together when we went with Born Again and Man Over Beast.
Uh-huh.
I put that video together in like 4 hours.
That's pretty good.
That video was started from zero to finish.
Well, plus your editing setup
because
is awesome.
Well, I had the computer, but we were able to streamline the footage. So like
screens.
Yeah.
Once, like I had some time to sit down, and once we streamlined the footage, because that's a linear type.
It does make.
That was a linear video. Like,
yeah.
We got here this day, and we left this day, so
yeah.
everything's in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, these other videos have taken me a little bit longer, but I got that video knocked out like right now.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
The it is a little bit easier to edit stuff like as it happens.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna run into some issues.
Well, we have the big bear. So we
summer.
haven't made the video for our bear trip from this spring yet.
Yeah.
We haven't even done the podcast on it or made the video, and it's 16 days of stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be a disaster.
I'm going to be doing it like a year after. So
I'm
not looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's one other thing with being on the road. Like, you got to get everything while you're there because you can't go back. You know, it's leaves change. You know, you got to get your drone shots. You got to you can't go back. You know,
Nope.
So
the weather and the lighting. It is what it is. Yep.
Who does your guys' drone shots? You guys do them yourselves?
Yeah. And then sometimes I'm running the drone. Sometimes Derek's one of the other guys. He's running a drone. He's a
I see all the
usually
drones.
the A shooter.
Okay, I see all the drone shots. Do you know what drone they use?
We use the Mini 3, the DJI Mini 3.
Okay.
That's one Tyler has?
They've got 2 of those.
It's got an Air or something. But mine's the Mini 2.
I've got the Air S2.
Okay, I think
so sometimes it's the Air S2 or sometimes it's a Mini 3. But
gotcha.
Nothing crazy. Yeah.
The drone shots are just cool. They make it.
Oh yeah.
Transition. I just use them for my transitions and intros, but it does a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, that's as far as the gear goes, pretty much.
Anything else we wanted to get
What are you guys
into?
using? I guess this is kind of like getting real deep for the nerds, but like, what are you guys using at WildTine? I don't know what Lattitude's using, obviously, but for like your music subscriptions.
I'm using Motion Array right now. Yeah, okay. Motion Array. I was using Artlist because I talked to you into Artlist.
Well, we're doing So I was using Artlist too, but he just got Epidemic, so we've started using both. Yeah. So and the Epidemic has a lot of stuff too. So.
Yeah.
The Artlist is getting a little too expensive just for my personal use.
I don't even remember what I pay because it just comes out automatically.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so like every year
I think I do a yearly
ding for $200.
Yeah. I think it's Artlist is like $250, and then I was able to get Motion Array for $250, and if you noticed in any of the Michigan stuff, I used some stock footage.
No, so I was gonna. he was gonna.
Watched the Michigan one.
I watched Michigan, Drake and Gavin.
Yeah.
So they both killed, but I watched those. I watched them. I know he was gonna ask you about like the stock footage thing. I couldn't pick out where the stock footage was. I don't think
in the WildTine stuff.
Yeah. Cheap
in the intro.
Fucking cheap.
In the intro.
Yeah.
So it was like drone shots and stuff.
Yeah, there was drone shots. I'm working on a. The Montana stuff. There's a lot of stock stuff in my Montana from last year too.
Okay.
Siman Brothers Outdoors is stock footage free.
Yeah, we've not used any stock footage yet.
Yeah. But I was able to
some stock sound effects in my Western videos. But those are more. It's
what
more
are you
like,
doing? Like you got like a Wilhelm scream in there and shit.
No, it's more like music that I'm like. Bongs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, it's more audio sound effects.
Yeah.
I use the heartbeat. Every once in a while I use a heartbeat and a campfire sound effect.
The what?
The heartbeat every once in a while.
Do you use that? Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll use like a campfire.
Like a pop.
Yeah, because like every time that we have a campfire scene, there's some guy yelling "motherfucker" in the background, talking about some girl he banged in high school. Like, I can't put that in my videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work.
But. No. Anyway, a little bit of stock stuff. I was able to get Motion Array for like this, like actually a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, I think.
And I like this
Epidemic
stuff on there.
Yeah, so we don't have our subscriptions are just purely music.
Yeah.
Like on Artlist and Epidemic. So.
Yeah.
But the Epidemic I've noticed has some stuff that I really like. I feel like I've exhausted Artlist. I've been using it for 2 years now. I feel like I've downloaded every song worth of shit. That's why I wanted to go to Epidemic because their stuff's different.
Yeah.
And if you watch enough YouTube, you can kind of pick out the videos. Like
my wife hates me because it's like I use that song.
Yeah,
that's our song. It's not our song, but like it's a song.
Like when you're watching TV.
Yeah.
On commercials and ads. Oh, I
commercials,
noticed that all
TV ads,
the time.
but like even like hunting videos. Like
I saw a Honda commercial the other day that had one of the same songs.
Yes.
So these giant production companies using the same songs. It's crazy.
There's Artlist is probably like the biggest one. I mean, everybody has Artlist, and I think a little, it just varies. There's so many of them out there, but yeah.
What else? I know there was something else you said you wanted to get into before we ended this. I think we might be over an hour now.
Though it's completely off topic.
Yeah, let's finish it with the off topic.
It's been on. It's been like you could say people have been talking about it on the Facebook page of Medina County Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, so I was okay.
Let's hear it because I don't follow it too much.
Yeah, just for the let's preface real quick. Medina County Hunters was a group that I started on Facebook in 2011.
Something like
I don't know. It's been a long time, maybe 2013. So it's this thing. It's this local Facebook group for the county that we just live in here in Ohio. It's been talked about in our videos a little bit. There's been some great connections made. We've had videos featured with the banquets we used to do. It used to be a nonprofit, donated a lot of money, this and that, blah, blah, blah. The last few years, so I started it, and then like with my brother's help, and then my team of admins, we have started taking steps back away from not leaving the group, but like I've passed the deer contest that we have, which he might be bringing up, stuff like that. We've passed that stuff on the last couple of years. I haven't ran the deer contest in a couple of years now. One friend ran it, and then this year Salzner's running it, the other taxidermist that he was talking about earlier. Because it's just a lot. I got this whole, we're doing the YouTube thing, the podcast, full-time job, volunteer fire department, family at home. Like running this Facebook group was a lot. So I pawned a lot of the stuff off. So for the last couple of years, things have been changing on the Facebook group, and I still am in charge of it, but not really as involved. So I'm going to preface whatever he's about to say. I'm going to preface with that.
So I don't know where you guys stand on it, but obviously the BTR buck scoring. I think to settle this argument for once and for all, me, Dylan, and Luke need to take our bucks
to BTR
and get them BTR scored.
So
and completely myth bust this.
So that would actually be fun.
And do a podcast over.
Yeah, let's get. I could probably reach out.
Full-blown
honestly, I could probably reach out to him and get him here if I tried. I don't know him well, but I know he's somewhat local. But like, we get that Toby Hughes from BTR.
And he
get
loves
him in here.
scoring bucks.
Yeah,
we'll get him, and they've already all been Boone and Crockett scored, and they all are between 206 and 198. There's $3, so like Dylan shot his 206, Luke shot his 187 net, but his gross
it's 199, 198 something.
Yeah, and then, so his
and a 198.
Yeah, so like they're right there, but we should do I like that. We should get buck because it's going
to
be 304, 299, and 297.
I'd love to see what they score because I've read the rules and put them up against Boone and Crockett, and it should be
the same,
roughly the same as the gross score.
Yeah, that's what he's kind of getting at, I think.
And there could be people that have done that before, but like I never.
And we're like, why is there such a differential? Because
that's the big question.
We've been seeing bucks scored 220 on BTR, and then they score in Boone and Crockett, and they're 212. So
and then even better than that, there's bucks that are showing up on that BTR that are
like 180, 190. They look like a 150.
And like, there's no chance on earth they're bigger than 160 Boone and Crockett. Like, there's just not a chance.
So we don't know if
but they're 194 BTR, and it's like a 9 point.
We don't know if it's a publicity thing.
Yeah. So if you're listening or watching, or you're a BTR guy, like, I'd love to have I'd love to have like a guy from BTR and a guy from Boone and Crockett or Ohio Big Buck Club on here, but I doubt that they would.
Because I'd love to know.
I mean, I know there's some friction there because every time we've had one or the other, they're like, trying to get each other's business. But what difference does it make? I want to know why BTR bucks are like 30 inches bigger than Boone and Crockett.
And I think that's what I want to know. I think BTR came around. They say it's because they don't like the net scores and they want to score every inch of antler, but that's what the gross score's for. And I think a lot of it has to do with how hard it is to become a scorer for Boone and Crockett. I don't know if you've looked into that at all, but it's a huge application process, and they only pick a couple a year, and you got to go to their school, and like you have to have a huge resume. So it's mostly just like game wardens and people that own big companies and blah, 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 to become an official Boone and Crockett scorer.
Well, it's funny. BTR says they don't want to measure anything but antler, but they include the spread at the end of the day.
Their BTR score doesn't include spread, but they call it like the BTR plus something. I don't know the nomenclature, but
really, gross Boone and Crockett should score the same as a BTR.
Exactly the same.
But they don't.
They don't.
Which is not
and
possible.
We don't know why.
Like Gavin or Drake thinks there's like extra mass measurements or something. Like if they're taking more.
I've read the rules. I've read the rules
know.
and I can't find anything different.
I thought there was extra mass measurements too. Like maybe you get an H measurement for every gap. Or
if that was the truth, Bankrupt would be through the roof.
Yeah. Well, Dylan,
all the way down.
Dylan would,
You got 25 points.
But then, like, I always thought maybe they measured from the middle of the antler or something. Like, I don't know, because like no matter what, it doesn't matter anything. BTR scores higher. It doesn't matter. It could be a simple 120-inch 8-point. BTR says 126, and Boone and Crockett says 120. Like,
so this is definitely going to be a video and a podcast. For
we need to line that up.
Yeah, I'll try to. I mean, we got a lot of off season. Me and Isaac were talking like the off season's coming. We got 2 months. We actually have 2 months of deer hunting left, but pretty soon deer hunting is going to be over, and we're going to have to fill a lot of space until next year's season.
Yeah, so we'll send some emails and messages to that Toby.
Yeah, we'll start doing some stuff. And all right, so I'm going to end. The last thing I'm going to end with is out of all the guys you've met on these trips, doing this freelance thing for 2 seasons now, who's the coolest person you've met? And I guess I won't ask you who the not coolest person. Who's an asshole?
Yeah.
Who's the coolest guy you've met, or some guys that you really enjoyed meeting so far?
I've just a whole Lattitude circle.
Okay.
I've stuck with them because they're such good guys.
Yeah.
But Alex Chop, Kevin Leach, Jake Metallic, those are the 3 owners of Lattitude Outdoors. And I had chances to meet Aaron Blicey with the Fall Podcast. Okay. Know him very well. He's a great guy. But everybody with Lattitude.
Instagram all the time.
Yeah, he's great. Corey Godar, he's with Lattitude. Jake Bush. I was fortunate enough to go to ATA with him last year.
He was
met
having
a lot of people there.
I don't know Jake Bush, but I follow him on social media. Obviously, he was having a tough season, and they ended up killing a nice one in Kentucky, right?
Kansas.
Yeah, I thought it was for some reason I thought it was Kentucky, but yeah, he was having a tough season. He would post it. He had a season like me and you were having, just it was just going to shit.
Yeah, I filmed him in Indiana for a couple days, and that dude grinds.
Yeah,
he
almost takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
because we love to hunt and make videos too, but I also like to drink beer and hang out.
I doubt Jake's listening to this, but if Jake's listening to this,
I know he ain't.
I'm sorry for having such a bad attitude in Indiana. It was a grind, but the whole Lattitude circle is cool guys. Trying to think,
and that is a cool thing they're doing over there with Grit, because there's not really anything else like that out there. The way they're going about filming that and posting that, it's a little bit different than anything we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's one of the shows, if there's a new episode, I watch it. And there's only a few shows, I used, back in the day, I watched a ton of YouTube, but now there's only 3 or 4 channels that I make sure I watch everything of, so you're one of them. It helps knowing a guy that's behind the camera and stuff too. So.
Yeah, I rolled around in the spring with Josh.
Yeah.
And we did
kind of a local celebrity.
Yeah.
Per se. If you're in the turkey or duck hunting.
We did the spring turkey stuff everywhere out in Missouri and Mississippi and stuff. Met a lot of cool people there.
Who was that with?
Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. Because he was Zinc forever, and then now he's Rolling Thunder.
Grossenbacher, right?
Yeah, Josh Grossenbacher we're talking
about. Trying to think of any super big names. Really, it's you get on you got ATA and there's Michael Waddell right there. Yeah. Everybody's standing around.
You're not sharing any camp with Michael
Lee and
Waddell,
Tiffany
right.
But
no Buck Commander yet for you.
No. Met some cool faces. I can tell you my least favorite one off the air.
We'll get to that off the air. We're going to wrap this one up because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But check out Joey's stuff on WildTine TV. You can check his stuff out on Grit with Lattitude and some of the other stuff he's talking about. And if you're local and you want some taxidermy work done, he's booked up and he's not going to do it.
No, I can do it.
He can do a couple more.
I think I got 5 more in me.
All right. Well, this is the Deer Shop Podcast, episode 20, and we are done. We're out.
The shop is closing up.
Yeah, shop's closing up.
There's our next audio.
12 to 60, so full frame would be a 24 to 120. So it does alright when I'm bow hunting, but when I'm gun hunting, I want something longer. I have a 45 to 175. But then if you're going to do an interview, you can switch lenses. Yeah, it's way too tight. That's what they make a 12 to 200. So it does pretty well. Yeah, the only bad thing about this one is it's a variable aperture. Yeah, it's 0.8 to 5.6 down. But really, you have to prioritize filling it with shot and then getting back to the hunter in frame. Around 70 feet. I also have a Tamron 50 by 400, which is the long lens. You can still get back to it.